The wings of the future pirate king Luffy have taken the front center stage. Sanji and Zoro have upcoming battles that are going to dictate what's going to happen from here on out between King, Queen, and of course versus Sanji and Zoro. Now let's start off with the anime. First of all, the Zoro resemblance towards of an older samurai, an ancient samurai who once lived in Wano and had similar abilities, looked similar to Zoro. One eye. Zoro has resembled this guy in his characteristics like dead on. But it kind of makes you wonder, is Zoro somehow an incarnation or maybe even his father? Maybe it could be his father. But we need to wonder, we all need to know, let's sidetrack, why the hell is Zoro still rocking one eye? We don't know what happened to Zoro's eye when he was training with Mihawk. We still don't know that. Could we please get some information about what's going on with this one-eye warrior that we have? Is he something like Kenpachi where he chose to use one eye because if he used two, he was just so strong? Maybe his observation haki was just simply that strong. He just had to shut his eye just so he could be 50% of himself just to enjoy his battles. I don't know. Coming right out the bat, you see Zoro uses his Conqueror's haki. You know, it's not as strong as Luffy's yet. And we all could see that when he flashes haki. As he jumps in front of the Marco and slashes that beam in half, he comes to a screeching stop and he flashes his Conqueror's haki, which is dope, man, because we all know Zoro has come a long way from meeting Mihawk at this first battle where he vowed that he would never lose another battle again. Think about it, Zoro has not lost a battle since then. He's grown uncharacteristically strong. His weaknesses are no longer there. We don't even know if Zoro can be beat at this point. Even if he were to go against Luffy himself, I think it'd be mid-diff to high differential battle against Luffy, because Luffy has Zero Fruit powers along with Conqueror's haki. We got Zoro who has Conqueror's haki, who's just a badass swordsman. And for all we know is that Luffy and Zoro are pretty much similar in characteristics. They both are hard-headed. They both want to win. But Zoro, on the other hand, he's a swordsman. He don't need to use most of his body like Luffy does. Luffy's whole body is a weapon when Zoro can simply just use what he needs to, which is his tools to cut through anything pretty much. And I could actually see him give him, like I said, it'd be a mid to high diff battle against Luffy, his own captain. Now I'm curious to see how Sanji fares with his exoskeleton, now that they all ran this close-knit scientific research group together, whom Queen was actually a part of. And we didn't notice at first until the recent manga chapters that Queen, along with Vegapunk, Vinsmoke, they all were in this scientific research group that kind of looked like some pirate scientists. And these guys have created certain things that the other ones have not so necessarily created. Queen makes a call. Queen even makes a statement that's saying Vinsmoke doesn't even know about his certain technologies that he's created. But yet I have Sanji, who I've never known, and there's never been an explanation as to why he can ignite his leg. And this whole time, I thought he was simply igniting his leg because that was the color of his haki. And it was kind of confusing at first because you hear the color of the Supreme King. Even they mentioned it even in Dressrosa when Luffy is taking on Doflamingo, the color of the Supreme King. It's like, okay, so what is the Supreme King? What is the color of the Supreme King? And what does it actually originate from? Nobody actually knows that. Can a admiral, somebody from Navy, possess the color of the Supreme King? Because now I'm curious to figure out, do you really need to be a pirate or some type of searcher or some type of researcher to gain the color of the Supreme King? Is this why Koji left the Navy? Was this the reason why he wanted to leave the Navy, so he can tap into that potential source of energy that he needed to become stronger than what he was at this point in time? That's just food for thought, because that's just something that makes you really want to scratch your head as to why would a Koji leave the Navy if he wasn't in the pursuit of becoming the king of conquerors. That's just something to think about. But back on track. Now Sanji is getting ready to prepare to go against Queen, while Zoro is preparing to go against King. And we all know that these two battles are going to be pretty much paramount to Luffy beating Kaido and actually them gaining back Wano from the Beast Pirates. But Sanji can ignite his leg on the fire, and in the anime you can see that he goes from just not only his leg, but he ignites his entire body, which tells me that there is some type of mechanism that he has going on. Another thing is that when Queen actually calls King a Lunarian, you see King eyes get kind of wide-eyed. He's like, what the hell are you talking about? And we all know that King is a Lunarian, and he is from that rare species or that race that used to live at the top of where Mary Joe's is currently. So that tells me this: Vinsmoke actually created Sanji and probably thought he was a failed experiment. However, he actually was not. If Sanji can ignite his leg, and Vinsmoke probably meant for him to ignite his entire body and become this weapon of mass destruction, could this be why Vinsmoke hates him so much? Because he was pretty much a failed experiment that he knew that it was his only hope. His only hope was to get Sanji to awaken this ability of the Lunarian's DNA that he had spliced inside of Sanji, but Sanji chose a different route. Maybe it's because of who he is, along with his mom. And when you think about his mom's personality, about how sweet and nurturing she was to him, and then you have the Lunarian race. And if you see King was not a bad guy until the government actually searched him out and wanted to experiment on him and his fire, which they did because they were able to create these duplicates of the warlords of the sea, and they were somehow able to use the Lunarian DNA and splice them with these clones. So now you have Sanji, who is exoskeleton, who also has, I'm going to say it is Lunarian DNA, that he's now able to actually ignite himself on fire. Now, the only thing Sanji is missing is a medium to long range attack. And I tell you guys, if he's able to do airstrikes, kind of like Zoro can when he swings his blade and sends Haki across the way, if Sanji is able to do that, look out, guys. Sanji is pretty much going to be making his way up into the power ranking system as far as being one of the most destructive characters inside of One Piece today. Because I don't see how we don't put him up there if he's able to do all that. If he can ignite himself, which is what King and Sanji also can fly, but if he can ignite himself and do long to mid-range attacks, then we're talking about somebody who can not only fight from a distance, but who can get up close and personal with you in hand-to-hand combat. So Sanji, look out guys for Sanji. I think this is just the beginning of what we're going to be seeing in Sanji. I think towards the end, we've seen a lot of Zoro, but in the anime, we're going to start getting a lot more Sanji fights. And of course, Zoro is still going to be Zoro. He's going to have these high differential fights, no matter where he goes, because we already know he's always going to be fighting the number 2 guy anywhere, wherever the enemy is. So when it comes to Blackbeard, I wouldn't even expect Zoro to be fighting, 1 or 2 commanders. I think he takes on 3. They all take on 3 commanders each. And then of course you got Jinbei and Robin who there to take on commanders on their own as well. But I can see Sanji is going to be stepping up a lot coming up in this down this stretch of the last arc and phase in One Piece. But I don't know, guys. You guys let me know what you guys think in the comments below. The wings of the future Pirate King, they have taken the stage and they are front and center, and the anime is about to go down. Even in the Egg Island on the manga where they are going to have to put up some decent performances with the Navy, and Kizu are on his way to the Egghead Island. So we're gonna have to see a lot of growth in both Zoro and Sanji to get them out of the situation. So you guys let me in the comments know what you guys think. Is Zoro and Sanji now Admiral level? You guys let me know in the comments what you think. Until next time, I'll see you later.